Hey guys, so we're back in my office, which means we're probably going to review a cool product for you again. This time it's the Winsor & Newton brush markers, which is something that really caught my eye, because previously when I tried the Winsor & Newton Pro markers, they are basically supposed to work similarly to Copics, because like the ink and the alcohol, it's all kind of the same concept, but I didn't like the nibs. Basically, the Pro markers only had like a hard marker fine nib, and then the wide one that you get on the other side of a Copic. These are getting a lot closer to the type of Copic I use. You probably already know this. I'm a big fan of the Copic sketch markers, which again, they have the slanted end, and then they have the brush end, which I find pleasant to work with. So yeah, these Winsor & Newton markers are supposed to basically give you the same experience, the same dual nib. You can get them as singles, and you can also get sets. I have 3 sets here. I think there's 1 or 2 more than these. There's definitely a skin tone set, and I have the gray set because gray Copics are the ones I use the most, so I thought it would be good to have a backup. This is a set of warm grays and cool grays, but these were really cheap. These were basically like £1 each. This is a 12 pack plus 1 black, and they were about £12 something on Amazon. So yeah, basically each is £1, and currently Copics are almost £3 or £4 each, so it's quite a saving. Even if I didn't use 1/2 of this pack at all ever, it would still be cheaper than getting Copics. So I'm kind of hoping they are the same quality. Then I have this 6-pack of pastel colors, and also these 6 rich tones. These are both 6-packs, but price-wise they were different. I think that the pastel ones were about £3 more expensive than these. I think that it depends on what seller you find. If you see these in a normal physical shop, it's more likely that these will be the same price, obviously, but on Amazon, for some reason, the pastel ones are more expensive than these ones. These ones, again, were kind of like £1 and a tiny bit each, and these probably also £1 and a little bit, but a little bit more. Let's unpack one of these and see what they look like. Okay, so here we have let's have a look at this meadow green one. So I personally really do not like the design of these, like the product design of these markers. It basically stayed the same for a whole bunch of years. I used to have my first set of Pro markers, the ones I did not like, was when I was in elementary school, and my friend brought them from London for me. And I remember that like back then I didn't really think about it too much, but the older I get and the more I know that I can also buy the Copics, it's just like, these just look so much better than these. So you can see that the nib, this is the brush one, is pretty similar to the Copic one. And yeah, here's the slanted one, and again, same design concept. I think that the tip here is a bit less flexible than on the Copic, but we'll see. That might be good for some uses. Let's swatch these. Okay, so this is the largest collection. This is, as you can see, it's 13 markers. Ugh. I guess that theoretically you can use these plastic containers to carry these around. I think that especially for the gray ones, that might be a good idea. I'm gonna keep the container for the gray ones, most definitely. Okay, and in this case we can even compare to the Copics. So I'm gonna get the warm ones out. Okay, so I can already tell you, they give you... Okay, so actually, I thought there would be a lot more of the grays. There's 5 warm grays and 5 cool grays. And then you have 2 blacks and 1 blender. Now, the Copic collection of grays is actually a lot larger. I do have more gray Copics than there are brush markers in this collection. These are the warm gray from, I have 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, which I would say are the colors that I use the most in my artworks, but I think that I also have a 6 and a 7, which however are a bit bam in your face. But let's see how these compare. So like straight away you can see on the labels that these don't have any 0 gray, but let's compare. Let's first swatch all of these from 1 to 5. Okay, well I can already tell you that number 1 is quite dark. Okay, so I can say that I do like the colors, but I do like the number of shades that I get with Copics. So as I said, these start on a 0, which is quite light. You can see, yeah, this is 0. This is the 1. I don't think I own a warm gray number 2. And the cat is stealing my stuff. Well, that's just pleasant. Back off. Okay, so you can see, first of all, what I noticed is that the brush marker colors are actually a lot warmer. These are slightly warm, but looking at them next to these warm ones, these feel more like neutral. The one problem that I see is gonna happen is that these won't be really great to combine as 2 sets together. I think that these will work all right as a travel set, because to be honest, I don't really use the darkest ones of the Copics anyway. However, I do use the lightest ones of the Copics, but that one might actually work with these because it's so light that you can't really see the tone, you know, being different from these. Anyway, I guess we can try the cool ones now. Alright, so as you can see, I would say that the Copic ones have kind of a yellowish undertone. the brush marker warm have a more of a pinkish undertone. So like when I look at these together, I feel like this is warm and this is cool and this is kind of neutral, but you know, you can tell it's already quite interesting that they all have different undertone, and you can have a look at this and see, okay, so this will work with my style of artwork the most. I guess that for me the Copics still come out the best because A, there's the best choice of shades, and B, it's just the undertone I prefer for my artwork. But I think that these are pretty universal, and these might be nice. They have a kind of almost like a sepia-ish quality to them, which is quite nice. I think, you know, they would look really good in sketches. So the final verdict. The previous model, or you know, the Pro Marker, which you still can get, my main problem with those was the lack of the flexible brush pen and nib, and they definitely fixed that in this model. I really enjoyed the nib, you know, that's similar to Copic Markers. It might be like ever so slightly firmer, but you know, you can't really feel the difference all that much. My problem is probably the lack of colors, because again, I was hoping that by buying that gray set I might be able to get like a substantially cheaper version of my collection of Copic grays, but that just didn't happen, because as you saw, each of the gray sets is only 5 shades, and I think that if you have like the full collection of Copics, it's I think about 8 or at least 7. In my sketch, this is actually the lightest shade, and you can tell that if you're going to be using the grays for sketching people, you might actually run into some problems if you're going to be drawing Caucasians. I would even say that the gray number 1 is darker than the Copic number 1, and Copics also come with number 0, and to me, like when I draw pale people, I will generally use 0 for like the whole face and then number 1 for shading. And then, you know, if you get to people with the, you know, more coloring, you can always go like, you know, 1 shade down, and there's so many options. These brush markers didn't really give me that. They are okay to work with, but like for me, I am already at the Copic stage, so I guess that for me it's not really worth going back. Obviously, if you're starting out and you want the same sets that I have, which would be about 6 shades of Copic grays, so you know, one being probably almost £4, you can do the math. It gets kind of expensive even with like a starter set. So these will only set you back about £1 each. So if you're not sure if you want to start working with alcohol markers, these would be great, because to be honest, once you commit to Copics, I guess that there's just no way back. If you have any experience with these yourself, please let me know in the comments. I would really love to see how other people like them. Also, if you like this sort of video, stay tuned, subscribe, hit that like button. I like to make these videos every now and then. As you know, my channel is kind of like travel and art, and I really enjoy trying new art supplies. I do already have another art video planned for this month, so there will definitely be 2 of Cat Art Aces. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Bye!